Dear daughters and dear sons, it's my pleasure for today to talk to you through this platform in order to keep in contact with you completing our school syllabus. I am Hasan Bakkour, a teacher of English language at Tabarak Private School. I'd like to avail the opportunity for today and to talk about writing a story. How to write a story. There are many steps you are supposed to follow in order to start writing a marvelous and complete, attractive story. First of all, introduction. In the introduction, you are supposed to create a location and a setting for the story. I mean by this, you should introduce your characters, who are they, and then to introduce setting, where did the story happen, and when it happened, then you should be able to give a specific time during talking about that story. Also, you should describe the weather. Was it night? Was it summertime? Wintertime? Was it rainy? Was it hot? And so on. You should be able to give us, information about the surrounding. Then the story details, which mean that the main body of the story. In the main body of the story, you should give us what happened. I mean, by narrating events in a very chronological and good sequence. I mean, the events should be narrated chronologically. I mean, systematically, one after another. One event paves the way to the other event. Then actions. You should write details and to develop characters. What did they do to create a climax of the story? I mean, the critical point where all events need a solution. Then you should come to suspense. Suspense means to create a sudden action for readers. For example, they began shouting. They began asking for help. I mean, you should create a suspense. Then also you should include direct speech. Please help me, help me. I'm smothered, I'm smothering, I'm about to die. Please, you ask, you shout for help. Then, for main characters in some events, to state some real interesting quotation for main characters in the events. We come to the story ending. The story ending should include resolution. I mean by resolution to find a solution for the main problem in the story climax. Like, for example, after that, it occurred to my mind to do something or to ask for something. This is a kind of finding a solution. Then your story should leave a feeling on the reader. The characters and their deeds and action should leave a trace on the reader, giving a feeling of sympathy or a feeling of what, something like that. Then in the end, your story should have a moral lesson. What did you aim for through narrating your story? Did you want to talk about wicked people, about, cooperation, about altruism, and so on? Your story should include and have a moral lesson the reader can enjoy. Now, after finishing your story, you finally come to proofread your story. The story you have written should necessarily contain so many spelling mistakes, so many grammatical mistakes. You shouldn't leave your story this way. It should be cultivated, well organized, and marvelously narrated. You come to the spelling mistakes and correct them. Then you correct your grammatical mistakes so as to entitle yourself of leaving an organized story. Remember, during narrating your story, you should give a balanced structure. By balanced structure is to start with the beginning and then to move smoothly to the details and then to the ending. There should be balanced timing. During narrating your story, you should necessarily use past tenses like it was midnight, after I saw that event, and so on. You should use the past tenses. Also, you should use more adjectives like stunning, very dark, beautiful, surprising, things like these. Also, you should vary through writing your story by using adverbs like suddenly, eventually, happily, things like these also. Then you should use time linking word like when, after, so, after that, due to, linking word that can make your story coherent and strong. Then you should use direct speech. Direct speech. Finally, you come to your homework. In your homework for today, a magazine is holding a competition for the best story ending in "The boy looked at me and smiled. You have saved my life." In your topic, when you want to write or to start writing, you should imagine that one time you've been gallivanting and strolling on the seashore, and then with the company of some of your friends, all of a sudden you've heard very sharp shouts and voices coming from everywhere. You hurry to that place, and you are known, now you are given the news that a small kid who was playing with the sand of the seashore was drifted by a very high wave. Then you yourself now, you should say that so long as I have been informed by that event, I didn't spare time, I soon did something. You should describe your readiness that you, upon seeing such an event happening to you in front of your eye, you should also do not spare time and hesitate. You should do some decisive action. So as for example, to take off your clothes and then to enthusiastically start swimming toward that kid and save him and bringing him to the seashore, then describing the happiness and the pleasure of the people over there who began, for example, clapping, acclaiming, describing you with bravery and altruism, and the feeling of his parents after saving him safe to the seashore. I wish you the best.